what was your favorite game console as a kid? For me, it was the Atari. I loved the Atari. I remember playing tanks and Pong on that. My mom thought it was too violent for us. I'd give anything to just play the Atari again. What if you can turn that desire into a business? Well, I'm Chris Hadnagy, CEO and founder of Social Engineer LLC. This is episode 322 of the Social Engineer podcast, the fourth Monday. And my co-host, as always, is the Emmy Award-winning news anchor, Mike Holfeld. How you doing, buddy?
And best looking guy in America. Hi, everybody. We're going to have fun. We've had fun every week with different topics. Chris and I have just knocked it out of the park, and I know you've been enjoying it. But today's show, oh man, if you like video games, you're going to love this.
Yeah, this is a really interesting guest. Ryan Rosenzweig. He's only 26 years old, and he started this company, C10 Toys and Games, when he was just 16. He's based right here out of Orlando, and he specializes in video games, Pokemon cards, Funko Pops, and vintage games. And we're going to talk all about that. Ryan, great to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Like, you know, we all had a game system that we loved when we were a kid, but I mean, I never thought about keeping it when it got old. So what made you think that way back then?
I didn't even think of, I mean, as a kid, it's most people, whenever a new console comes out, they want to trade their stuff in.
Yeah. Yep.
And back then, I mean, when I got my first GameCube, I think I was 6, maybe. I mean, all that stuff just went straight to GameStop when the Wii or whatever else came out. And I was like, I want the newest, greatest thing. And nobody ever thought about it. And ever since right around COVID, actually, people were like, oh, wait, this is actually something that I want to have for later on for my kids to enjoy. And that's kind of what I noticed recently more.
Yeah, vintage things are interesting, right? You know, like I didn't plan this, but when I was a kid, and I'll tell you how old I am, Star Wars had just come out. Yeah. And I got the C-3PO silver or gold head that holds all the little characters.
Yep.
And I have like probably 20 some original from the 70s and 80s, you know, characters.
The Kenner series, it's a great line of the Star Wars toys.
Just never thought about like, and then as I got older, I'm like, I should keep these. Maybe my kids will want them.
Yeah.
And then I started looking at them. I'm not giving them to my kids. They're going to rip them apart. Right?
Yeah.
But you turned that into a business idea.
Yes. Basically how it all started, I wasn't originally in this space. I was in the summer camp industry before this. But I remember I watched a video on YouTube. This is probably 2014-ish of, these Funko Pops can be valuable. Mm-hmm. And I remember I went straight to Walmart maybe 10 minutes after and was like, I went into the toy section. I found a bunch of them and I was like, oh, this is great. You know, I started picking up the ones that I actually really enjoyed. And it ended up turning out with going to these shows like Comic-Cons and stuff like that, that my friends were like, you have so many of these things. You should just set up a booth. And then from there, it kind of just snowballed into what it is now. But I mean, it's been an interesting ride, needless to say.
I'm just curious here because guys, you're not going to believe it, but even a guy my age has one. I've got the Mandalorian in the box.
That's great.
Nice.
What decides? Is it supply and demand? What decides value, interest? Who loves it? Is it young, old? Who loves this stuff?
I mean, it's really everybody because Funko has so many licenses across every single genre that you could really have anything. I mean, there's some very weird ones and they come out with their own designs also. So, I mean, these parents that are like, oh, I was a big like old school rap fan. I want to have one of like Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., anything like that. They have those. But then also for that newer generation, they have Care Bears, My Little Pony, Star Wars, like The Mandalorian, for example. And it kind of just blossomed into, hey, we have so many more LPs now. Let's just do everything.
Oh, so now people that are listening, they may be thinking, wait a minute, I've got this, I've got that. What are the hot items right now?
For Funko, it's mainly anime. We've kind of gone into that more side of it with Funko, but I'm personally starting to phase out of Funko. I've been doing Funko since I was 16, so a little over 10 years now. So it's like, it's time for something different. You know, and also when it comes to storage space, that's a very large thing.
What's the most vintage thing you have? Game console, let's say.
vintage wise, I mean, I have a couple Atari 2600s right now.
Oh, wow.
With the Pong paddles and Pac-Man, and but I actually did about 3 years ago, whenever first, or right around COVID time, actually, I had a ET Atari game from the original dig site.
Wow.
Whenever they dumped all of them in the landfill, come in, and I had that hanging up in my office for a while. That was pretty cool.
So when you have let's go on Atari 2600, how do you find parts for that if you have to repair it? I mean, that thing's so old, they don't even make the boards like that anymore.
And they don't. And usually what ends up happening is you have all these other systems that have been classified as junk. So you kind of just Frankenstein these things together to make them so they work properly. But it's all mainly just small electronics. So it's soldering, some parts repairs. Mostly it's the pins for where the game slot actually goes in. And that's usually just taking a Q-tip and actually a middle pick. And you can kind of just clap them back into place and they go back to normal.
So do you just teach yourself the repair methodology? Because I would never have known to take it apart, and what I was seeing inside would have made no sense to me.
I did. It was a lot of YouTube and just trying to figure it out. And a lot of the repairs that I do now, it's more of just easier stuff. So laser lenses is the big one, where a lot of this tech from early 2000s, the lasers are starting to get burnt out. Capacitor changes, which also ties into the lasers, or even just something as simple as a battery. I mean, is all it really takes on some of these systems.
Interesting.
What about the relics of the past when I was your age? What about like Space Invaders? What was that other one, Galaxa, where they flew down at you? Do you have all those still? Can you see them, find them?
I see them. They're more on the arcade cabinets. But there's actually a company called 1UP that is redoing all of these old arcade units that you would play for like a quarter. And they're around the $300 mark. They're not bad. But what I've noticed is because of space, people don't have a lot of room for those kind of things. Okay. So all of these companies, they're starting to come out with different versions of those games as like a combination. So it'll be like Atari flashbacks, where it's like all on one disc, and you have all those games that you would have played there, or any of like the Galaga, Pac-Man is all on one disc, so you could play it on more of a modern system.
Oh, that's crazy. So now if someone, again, I keep bringing it up because I'm thinking, wait a minute, do I have something in my closet that's worth a lot of money? What's the stuff that's so hard to find? And you, Ryan, would say, oh man, if I could only get my hands on that.
It's one of those things where not a lot of people would know if they had it. It's a copy of World Championships on the original Nintendo. I've been looking for one of those for about 6 years now. It was a demo cartridge that they used in the World Championships in the 90s, or early 90s, I believe, where if you won, you got two different versions of the cartridge. And one of them is gold and one of them is silver, I believe. And they're 30 to 40,000 right now.
They sell for that?
Yeah.
Yikes.
And this was in Seattle, so it's not a lot of people. I know there was a couple of players in that tournament around the Orlando area, but it's one of those things where if you go to a garage sale and you see it and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I mean, that's a down payment on a house.
Yeah, Yahtzee. Jeez.
Yeah.
$30K. Whoa.
Wow. That is not something I expected to hear. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So you said that you're kind of getting out of Funko. What's next? What's the next thing that you're getting into?
We're going full speed more into the video game side of it, and also trading cards. So Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, that kind of stuff. It's really, with a business like this, you have to go more with the shifts. Mm-hmm. So when you see a trend going down, you don't go full force into it, because then, I mean, a perfect example for me was Squishmallows. I don't know if you guys know what those are. They're little plushies, kind of like Beanie Babies. Where they were really hot for about a year and a half, and I invested a lot of money and a lot of time into getting the right inventory for this kind of stuff. And then overnight, I mean, it was within 2-3 weeks that I had a show where I was selling 100 plus of these a day. And now I'm sitting on 5,000 of them, sitting. And I mean, you kind of just have to go with those trends. So right now Pokemon is very, very hot. I mean, you can't go to a store and find product anymore right now. You'd think it was baseball and football cards during COVID. But it's because all these people are like, oh, there's money in this. When COVID hit, it was more, a lot of these people were going online and posting that they found this stuff. And there was auction houses that were like, oh, there's a market for this. Let's sell them. And they were record breaking prices, where cards 3 years before that you can get for $50-$60. And in the highest grade that you can get, they were going for millions of dollars at this point.
What? But what happens if it goes the way of the Beanie Babies? You know, like if I put that kind of money into a stock, I'm hoping it's going to split and grow. Like you say, you have to roll with the trends and go to the next thing. Don't stick with the old trend. I mean, who in the world is going to pay that money? So
there's actually quite a lot of people that would. With Pokemon specifically, you have to think, this is a company that has been around since the 90s. They have a big fan base in the US and in Japan. So there will always be a demand for these cards. It's whether it was you were collecting as a kid. So these kids in the early 2000s that were opening up Pokemon packs, going to a store, buying them, and they find them. That's when they kind of rekindle that love for them. Or they pass them down to their kids. So it's more of just a rotating wall of how it goes between TV shows and video games and that kind of stuff, where that IP is always going to be there. And with video games, I mean, everybody kind of plays video games, whether it's on an iPad, a computer, on an actual console itself. Those are always going to be there.
You know, it's interesting. I remember when Pokemon came out, my son was heavily into it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, as a company, they did something genius. Like, as the trading cards, they waned off a little bit. They came out with that game, right, where you run around and you catch Pokemon on your phone with an app.
Yep.
I thought that was a genius way of reinventing themselves and getting new interest in there. So to hear that they came back again and they're worth that much doesn't actually shock me.
No,
they seem to have done a really good job.
I mean, Pokemon Go is really what started the whole Pokemon craze again. Because, I mean, it's still one of the top games in the world right now.
Is it really?
Yeah. And it's free to play on your phone. I mean, you can walk around, do whatever. And it's also healthy because when you're walking around doing this, it's also kind of a fitness app, which not a lot of people think of it on that end.
That's why I thought it was genius. I mean, it got my kid away from a video game console, running around town, catching these things, right?
Exactly.
And it was kind of cool. I'm going to have to ask him if he kept his Pokemon cards. See what he's got.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
He might be sitting on $1 million.
Yeah.
So how does your company work? You're the man behind this. Is it sort of like being a detective?
Yes and no. A lot of it is trade-ins. So we are predominantly Comic-Con based. So we're at most of the shows around the country, but also it's yard sales, flea markets, retail arbitrage. So it's not only one source where you have kind of a random gamble on if you're going to find something. You have to have multiple avenues for it. So it's more of I guess you could say detective. It's kind of a different way to put it, as I was saying.
I was just thinking, because you're on a recon mission constantly. Garage sales, the Comic-Con, you may hit, you may not. And then if you hit a home run, you may have that $30,000 sitting there.
Exactly. And that's a very big if. I mean, I remember one of my best finds I ever had. I went out to a flea market and someone had an N64 for like $60 with 2 controllers. And I was like, okay, sweet. It's in my margins. Why not? Let's do it. And one of the controllers that I thought was a knockoff, it actually wasn't. It was a special edition that you had to mail into Nintendo Power as a giveaway. Oh. And there was only 1,000 made. There's maybe only about 250 known to be left. And that was in there. And at the time, it was like 800 to 1,000. And now it's up to, I know last sale of it from a game store in Texas was actually $5,000.
For just the controller.
Just the controller.
What did you say that was? The M64, for people that might not know that. What is that?
The Nintendo 64. It was the console before the GameCube. So Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong, those kind of games were all on that. It was the predecessor to the Super Nintendo.
Okay, I remember Donkey Kong. See, I'm not that old. I see Chris laughing at me. I'm not that old.
No, I'm just blasted away thinking that people spend that kind of money on these things, but you really have to be a fanatic about it. You know, really, really enjoy it and want to be a collector.
Oh yeah, and a lot of it is people that are going for complete sets. of a certain console. So like me personally, I'm doing a complete GameCube set. That's the console that I grew up on as a kid. I love it. I've always loved the system. So I'm going for every single North American title in that set. And then you have the people that go a step up on it, how they're like, oh, I want to get every controller, every console variant, every little like display piece for it. And that's when the true diehard collectors come in and they're like, I need this super niche piece that I know I might not find, but this is the option if I find it.
Yeah. So does this mean a lot of traveling for you? It sounds like you're on the road a lot.
I am. Usually from about late January to late July. I'm maybe home week and a half at a time before I get back on the road and do another one. We try to stay predominantly in Florida, but we have been trying to venture out more into Georgia. We've been in talks with doing New York Comic Con this year up in at the Javits Center. So it's more of, if the cost will allow us to, we try to, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's hotels, food for all of my people, and then gas and everything up there for a 17-foot box truck, which is not cheap.
Yeah. My daughter collects Disney pins. So I'm just thinking, they trade sometimes. Do you trade pieces with other collectors?
Oh, 100%. I would rather you have something that you wanted at the end of the day. If it makes sense for me, of course I'll do it, and not even worry about if, say, it's worth $10 less. I mean, yeah, I could use it for myself, or okay, yeah, this niche piece that I have, yes, it might be a couple $100 and I might make an extra $50. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because one, someone's going to get it, and also the piece that I'm getting in, it might move a lot faster.
So you said you had employees. How many employees do you have?
Right now we're at 2.
So this is great. You started the company when you were 16 that grew to actually employing 2 other people. Yeah. And you got to see your vision all the way through. Like what you wanted to do at 16, you're still doing it.
Exactly. I mean, this put me through college at the end of the day. I mean,
really
it was very hard to juggle doing college classes and this at the same time, especially with how much I had to travel. But it was still a very big learning experience where I learned that, okay, if I wanted to, I didn't need to go to college to do this. I can, if you have a smartphone or any time of day, you could just go to any yard sale in the country on a Saturday, for example, early in the morning, and find something to sell online. And then it starts into a lot of people that I know that make millions of dollars a year by doing this.
Millions of dollars?
Yep.
Wow, Chris, what's your reaction to that? Millions.
I'm in the wrong business. So I actually met a guy who, this sounds like a long story joke. I met a guy who knew a guy in New York City that did dumpster diving. Yep. And he made $250,000 a year just selling stuff that people threw away in a dumpster. And he said you would find like 60, 70 inch TVs, flat screen TVs that still worked, but they just bought a new one. So they didn't want it. So they threw it away.
Exactly.
You know, art and sculptures and things. And he would just take these things and sell them on eBay. Guy was making $250,000 a year, just jumping into a dumpster. Like, what the heck?
It's funny because the biggest guys on the platform like eBay or Amazon, because I mean, Amazon is a game changer for people in my space, because I mean, you have the Prime option, you have everybody has an Amazon account almost at this point. So that's how people can do this volume where they're buying collections that are worth $200,000 to $500,000. And then if it works on Amazon, they just sell all that on Amazon, and then they're up because you get more of a premium on Amazon also.
So you have a storefront, or is it all online?
All online in conventions. We've been trying to lock down a store location. But it's hard with physical stores right now because not a lot of people want to go out. They'd rather just go online. Yeah.
Well, you probably have more business from all over the country, or maybe even the world, with your online presence, as opposed to someone having to drive to Orlando to come to your store.
Exactly. And also with the rental prices right now, it's just, you don't know if it's going to be worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's
how should we describe this industry? Is it a multi-million-dollar industry with an international flair, driven by young people, middle-aged? How would you qualify it so people understand? I mean, this is fun. We could talk about this all day, but what's making it tick?
It's definitely the younger collectors right now. I mean, you do have the older people, for example, like with your Kenner Star Wars toys, how they loved those when they were a kid, and they're like, I want to get these back. You know, I threw them away, I damaged them, I lost them in the backyard when I was playing with my friends, whatever it was, and it kind of drives it into what it is now. But I would definitely say that this is really international. I mean, eBay, Amazon, anything like that is on every platform in the country and in the world. Yeah. So it's definitely multi-million on top of it also.
This is incredible.
Yeah, every time we have one of these, like my son, he's big into online gaming, right? And he tells me this thing that online gaming as a sport has more fans and more money than football, baseball, and hockey and basketball combined. And I'm like, no. I go look that up, and I'm like, he wasn't lying. Like, this is crazy.
And it's all from people that either twiddle their thumbs with the joystick or on mouse and keyboard. And these people make a ridiculous amount of money. I know one of the best League of Legends players in the world. He just re-signed to a 3-year contract for a team out of Korea for $5 million.
Whoa!
Just to play a video game.
And the thing is, and they like my son will spend time watching, like I would watch football. He'll watch this. You know?
We throw a party every year for one of the games that we watch, the big tournament at the end of the year. And we throw a big party. There's like 40 of us that we all sit back and watch, and we just have a great time with it. So
that's great. That is really great.
It really is. So this is the old guy here. You're telling me they gather around the screen and watch people play video games?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. So there really is a market for it. And I know everybody listening saying, do I have that $30,000 magic piece? How do I know? Can I email you? Can we check with your internet? What?
Oh yeah, you could definitely send us a message on Instagram or my email. Anything is on my Instagram is kind of how we do it. We're trying to get a soft launch of our website up in the next 3 months. Time depending, it's getting all of our inventory pictured and put into the website also. But the thing you have to worry about with a lot of these games is they could be fake. So, I mean, you might, okay, sweet, I found this $30,000 game, for example. And then someone like me can open it up and kind of do it very carefully to the point where, okay, I could tell you if this is real or not. This is why it isn't. And you have to think that anything of value in the world, there's going to be fakes, whether it's art, Pokemon cards, video games, anything.
Yeah.
And that's really what you have to look out for, which can drive the market in either way.
Yeah, that's a good point. So don't go ripping through your garage looking for the console and thinking you're about to make $2 million.
Exactly.
Well, we'll make sure your Instagram is in the show notes.
Perfect.
And just really fascinating. I don't think if someone had asked me if selling 30, 40-year-old game consoles was a business, before meeting you, I'd have been like, nah, probably not. Maybe a couple of people on eBay buy them, but that's about it.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would still be doing this, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, cool. Come on. No, I can still be doing this. I was just doing this because it was fun. You know, I started off as a collector at the end of the day. Yeah. And it turned into this. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I could sell this stuff and put more money into my collection. And then you start making a little bit more money than you're used to. And you're like, this might actually work.
Right.
It sounds like it has.
It has, and I've been very lucky and blessed that this is kind of where I'm at with it. So
that's great.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Ryan. Thanks for sharing your experience and how you built the business. And who knows, maybe somebody listening will find that jackpot.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, Mike, another guest you found, another friend of yours. So thanks for doing that. Do we know who we're talking to next month?
Who are we talking? Oh, you're not going to believe who we're talking to next month. A woman that survived COVID. She was actually declared dead. She's back from the dead, and she's exercising to help her lungs revive. One of the greatest stories we've ever had on here.
That's
okay.
Cool.
That's going to be a fascinating one.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed the episode as much as Mike and I enjoyed filming it, and we'll see you next month. Until then, stay safe.